Joining us now is a key member of the House Homeland Security Committee, Republican Congressman Will Hurd of Texas. He's a former clandestine CIA officer, spent 9 years in the CIA. Let's talk about this American citizen now arrested in prison in North Korea, accused of spying, not necessarily for the United States, but on behalf of elements in South Korea. What can the U.S. do to get this American citizen out of there?
Well, one, we got to confirm this story, number one, making sure this guy is who he says he is. I haven't heard of anything about his family trying to help free him. If he's an American citizen, we should do everything we can to get him back. But it's a little suspicious, the timing of all this, of allowing, someone to be interviewed and say, come and rescue me. That sounds really strange, especially at a time with this heightened tensions with us, as you just showed, the bombers being thrown over there, naval assets being redeployed to the region. This is a delicate situation, and the timing is suspicious.
It's not the first time the North Koreans have allowed our Will Ripley to come into North Korea and interview Americans who are being held by the North Koreans. They obviously think they have an agenda that they can accomplish by allowing an American reporter to basically go in there and talk. But this follows, as you point out, this test, this nuclear test the other day. They say it was a hydrogen bomb. The U.S. says no evidence. Whatever it was, this is a really dangerous development.
Absolutely. The difference between an atomic bomb and a hydrogen bomb is basically yield. They're both disastrous. They both going to kill a lot of people. And it's a sign that Kim Jong-un, the dictator of the DPRK, is willing to do something crazy like use these. And we need to be doing everything we can. And Congress tonight likely, is going to pick up legislation that continues to expand some of the sanctions that are ongoing, make sure the president is reviewing any kind of cooperation between Iran and North Korea, and also making sure the State Department has a plan on beaming information into North Korea. The folks in North Korea don't have access to the internet. They're basically blind from the rest of the world, and if we're able to help show them what's really going on, we can maybe see some change.
We know that the Iranians provided nuclear technology to Syria. The Israelis blew up a nuclear reactor in Syria that the North Koreans helped build. The North Koreans helped the Syrians with that. North Koreans helped Pakistan build their nuclear arsenal. But what evidence is there that North Korea is helping Iran with any kind of nuclear ambition?
Well, that's one of the things that we're asking, is making sure the president and the executive agencies are reviewing all the information they have to see if there's any connections and there's any violations of UN treaties by the Iranians. They've already done it with their long-range missile program recently. This is something they'd probably do. And the North Koreans are looking to Iran as an example of how they could possibly position themselves. If they have nuclear capability, they think the United States will treat them a little bit differently, almost the way we're changing our tune when it comes to
You'll
Iran.
vote in favor of this legislation to tighten sanctions against North Korea?
Absolutely.
I'm sure you will. All right, Congressman, stand by. We have more to discuss, including the latest U.S. airstrikes against an ISIS target inside Iraq, an ISIS target where there are millions and millions of dollars that have been, quote, vaporized. We'll be right back. Republican Congressman Will Hurd of Texas. He's a member of the House Homeland Security Committee. He's a former clandestine CIA officer. This kind of operation going after the money, the cash that ISIS has, and we know they're the richest terrorist group in the world. Is it going to make a difference?
It's going to have an impact, not only in their ability to purchase weapons, vehicles, things that they need to prosecute terror in the region, but it also has a demoralizing effect on the troops. Everybody in ISIS knows, that what had happened. They know they may not get paid. They know that they may not be able to take care of their families, and that this may signal a change in how the U.S. military is targeting them. So this is a good thing for the war.
Even if there are innocent civilians, collateral damage, as it's called, that are killed in the process, you okay with that?
Look, this is one of the difficulties of being at war, and this is one of the issues that it's ISIS that are putting these individuals in harm's way. It's because of their activity that these innocent folks could possibly be injured, and these are the risks that our military planners have to weigh. It's a difficult risk, but in this case, it seems that it paid off.
King Abdullah of Jordan, one of America's best friends in the Middle East. Jordan has been a source of great support for the United States, taking in recently maybe 1 million Syrian refugees. King Abdullah is here in Washington this week. He's meeting with the Secretary of State, the Defense Secretary, the Vice President. But the President of the United States is not meeting with him this week. The White House is saying that due to scheduling conflicts because of the President's State of the Union address, he's not going to have time to meet with the King of Jordan. Are you surprised by that?
I'm very surprised by that. This is, there is, as you said, there's no more important partner in the region in our fight against terrorism. You know, this is something that President Obama should change his schedule in order to meet with. You know, this is an ally that has been with us since 9/11, before 9/11, does everything he can to help us. He has a tenuous grasp in that region. You know, this is another sign that, you know, our moderate Sunni Arab partners are looking at, is this an even more example of the president pivoting towards Iran? You know, you have this with the tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran right now. This fuels that, and I think this is a terrible move by the president, and it's a slap in the face to one of our most important allies.
Yeah, I'm surprised. The King of Jordan, a great friend of the United States, comes to Washington for a few days, and the president doesn't have time to meet with him. That's a surprise to me, given this relationship, an extraordinary relationship. They did meet early last year, February 2015, a year ago, but given what's going on in the region right now, presumably they would have a lot to discuss.
There's so much to discuss, and this is a mistake by this president. We have a couple more days while he's here. I hope he changes his mind and takes in and listens to one of our most important allies in that region.
Will Hurd, the congressman from Texas, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you, Will.
Coming up, he's